Hey guys and girls, and welcome back to Greatest Good Tarot. I hope you're doing well and keeping out of mischief. So, right off the bat, this is just a bit of fun, okay? I have never really looked into talking with the dead and all that kind of stuff, okay? So, I've played around with it, had a bit of fun with it over the years, but nothing, serious or anything, okay? So, this is just purely a little bit of shenanigans, a bit of lightheartedness, take what resonates, leave the rest behind, all that kind of stuff. All right. So anyway, this was another question that got a lot of upvotes. And I thought to myself, as we're catching up right now and I'm rattling around with antibiotics and all that kind of shenanigans, why not have a little kind of a cleanser, a little bit of a kind of a light-hearted shenanigans, see what happens. And this one comes in primarily from Carollynn. Yes, Carollynn. For a second there, I was like, it's not Caroline. In my mind, I'm like, it's not Caroline. It's not Caroline. Don't say Caroline. You'll sound like a fool. No, it's Carollynn. Hi. Who said, would you be able to do a reading on what Winston Churchill would think about the UK now and what Liebour are doing to the country? Thank you very much. Love your channel. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much indeed. And that's 17 upvotes. So a lot of people. So, even though there wasn't the suck up sandwich, there was a lot of it was almost like suck up toast, wasn't it? There was a little bit kind of the question, which is kind of the the liver pate, and then we got the suck up kind of toast at the bottom there. Very lovely indeed. So thank you very much. Well, let's find out, shall we? So, can we have a reading on what Winston Churchill would think about the UK now and what Liebour are doing to this country for the greatest good for all concerned? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Always be appreciative. Rule number one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So then, let's have a butcher's here. I've been told that we need to shuffle these cards. Okay, so what would Winston Churchill think about the country and what Liebour are doing? Right. Okay, so shuffle. Here we go. Let's find out. We're going to go with the flow on this reading. So, yeah, we're basically making it up. Yeah, craziness. While I'm doing this, waffle stuff, that one really wants to come out. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed across to UK Nature Watch. Thank you very much indeed. Phenomenal things happening over there. We're currently looking for a second location to deploy some stuff, and it's going really, really well. I tell you what, I am. It's a blessing, and what we're doing there is phenomenal. I know it doesn't look like it on the surface, but there's a phenomenal amount of tech going on, and you'll see the benefits from it later on. So, we've got the world card. The world card, overarching energy, and we've got Temperance, Hawk Lady. Oh, I've missed her. 9 of Pentacles, and we've got the 8 of Pentacles. Right off the bat here, it is very clear. Temperance, calling the situation down, is definitely kind of, I'm like I used the phrase earlier on about kind of like pressure cooker, kind of taking out the pressure of the pressure cooker. Exactly the same energy that I'm getting there with the Temperance card. 9 of Pentacles, Hawk Lady. That is coming across as realize what goodness we actually do have. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of energy. And then there is definitely work to do here. So now we've got the foundations of this. The world card, overarching energy, very much feels as if there are countless small wins. There's more to come. It feels like a domino effect. and like celebrate all the small wins as well as the big ones. But there's a lot more to come. Right. So now we've got that going. For some reason, I'm being drawn to this deck, which is a tarot deck that is the only tarot deck that I have that is topsy-turvy. While all the other cards are put back upright, and we'll go with the flow of that. This deck, when I received it from Grandor, who sent it in, wanted to stay as it was. So there are reverses, there are uprights. It's just as it is. Okay. So how do you want to use this deck? You called me to use this deck. What do you want me to do with this deck while I'm shuffling? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is one more, and then so it's going to be 3 on each card. So cut the deck. Do you want me to shuffle between each one? Yes. Okay. So we've got Temperance card here. We've got 6 of shiny 6 of Swords. Moving on into Calmer Shores from Stormy. Lovely. World card in reverse though. And 6 of Cups in reverse. Okay. We want to do these. No, I should stop. Okay, so we're going to stop and review what we've got here so far. So on the Temperance card, calling out. So we're desperately trying to move on, which is lovely. But the World card in reverse here feels like it's a warning of there are no quick fixes. It feels like we can't just slam the door or draw a line and just like everything's going to be hunky-dory. It feels like we've got to face, as a country, we need to face the troubling things as well as the good things. Okay. With the 6 of Cups in reverse feels as if it's kind of like it's like a double whammy. There's a part of it that feels as if that we need to bring kind of, I don't want to use the word sovereignty because that's got baggage with that word recently, but I suppose independence. The government shouldn't be everything, the answer to everything. We've got to take our own responsibilities type energy. I hope I'm making sense of that there. But equally, we can't go back to a previous time. Yeah? So it's one of those situations where we can't put the genie back in the bottle, but at the same time, we've got to take our own responsibilities on. Okay? We can't just keep going, this issue, this problem, this concern, whatever. The government should deal with that. The government should deal with that. We've got to take our own on. And that may be, I'm just trying to explain the energy here. That could be, it's almost like following your intuition. That could be going to working in as a volunteer in the local library or something, or it could be standing on the parish council, or it could be a club or organisation or sports thing. Do you know what I mean? It's wherever you're being called to kind of take on that responsibility as well. Because the 6 of Cups is like, there's a lot of depth to it. These ones are quite, it's almost self-explanatory kind of energy, to the point. There's like, it's almost like a swimming pool. The more I'm going into it, the more the floor is sinking away to the deep end kind of thing, that ramp. But it's definitely, we can't go back to the 1930s or the 1950s or anything like that. Is part of it, but also we should we need to kind of It's almost like taking on the lessons of that time, but not going back to that time, if that makes sense. Like I have personally a huge fascination with the Victorian era, the amount of innovation and the amount of kind of social responsibility that people took on, and like little committees would start up to do certain things, to focus on helping different parts of the country, that kind of mentality. But there was a definite freedom to it. Yeah, people were naturally drawn to different things to help their fellow man, as it were, and woman, obviously. But I mean, you know, that kind of energy. And I feel like, for me personally, that's where I've been. Obviously, not bringing the Victorian era like rickets and stuff over, but it's that sort of mentality, being called to do certain actions and support certain parts of things in the community and that kind of thing. Yeah. So we're moving on. It's all good. We've got to. There's no shortcuts. Yeah, but at the same time, we can't kind of pretend that we're going back to a bygone era, as it were. Okay, right. So the Nine of Pentacles, which was like, not everything's bad. We do have a good thing going here. Nine of Pentacles, Hawk Lady, because the Nine of Pentacles is normally about kind of the Garden of Eden that you've built. And also it's about kind of personal growth. If you're reading, you know, if you're trying to learn tarot, that's really what the Nine of Pentacles is about. It's kind of inward growth. Because how I read the tarot is that there's 3 empresses in the deck. So you've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is kind of the baby empress, which is like internal growth. Then you've got the Queen of Pentacles, which is external growth, being practicalities and that kind of thing, being mumsy to other people. And then when you grow up into the Empress, which is obviously all 4 queens as well, but it's that lovely balance between inwardly, externally, almost kind of like the infinity symbol. They're kind of harmonizing with each other. Yeah. So let's have a look here. With the Nine of Pentacles, I can hear a lovely robin singing along while we were. I don't know if you can pick up on that. I think it's a robin. If only I had BirdNet, that is part of UK Nature Watch. It tells you what it can hear on the microphones. I'm sure this is a robin that I can hear, but chirping its little way it's lovely. So I've been told 3 cards for this as well. We've got Lovers in reverse. We've got the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, and we've got the Page of Swords in reverse. So let's have a look here. So the Lovers in reverse is it's interesting because it's like the unbalanced. And what's weird about it is obviously we've got the Temperance here, which it definitely feels like upright. So we're balanced, but we're unbalanced. It's very like conflict there. It feels as if that it's almost like acknowledging. It's like, sorry, I'm leaning back on my chair again to try and reflect. It's like acknowledging the downfalls, or acknowledging the openly about the things that went wrong. Not as a criticism. It's more about like, we can't do that again, or we can't do that again. It's without getting drawn into stupid debates that are meaningless. There's definitely a meaningless element to this. We need to acknowledge it, but we can't get like drawn down. I'm getting like almost like the swirling water in a drain, kind of drawn down into kind of nitty-gritty silliness. It's almost as if these it's sorry, I'm just trying to I know the feeling, I'm just trying to put it into words. It's like acknowledging the bad choices that have been made over the years. And I've noticed that obviously I've been off for a bit, but so I haven't heard much dealing with other things, but we talked about in the previous video, whatever, moving on. Not all about me, but this is kind of acknowledging, for example, Tony Blair, what he'd done, and it's coming to light now, the kind of almost the vandalism in the legalese kind of health, not just legalese, but as the almost like the unofficial constitution of the UK, how much he changed. And this is kind of the acknowledgement. It's kind of like, okay, we need to change that because that has not led us down a good path. We need to go back and fix that, go back to how it used to be. It's that kind of energy without going, oh, you're how certain people would be like, oh, you're just saying that because you're racist or you're this or you're that or you're just, it's acknowledging the flaws without wasting time on other things that are drawing you away from that, if that makes sense. 8 of Pentacles in reverse also feels as if the understanding that everything's not going to be perfect. And I think we as a culture are too hung up on science. Like, I'm really explaining this badly, but if, science is obviously supposed to be, as it was developed, as a continuing, moving, everything's called a theory until someone is able to break that theory or come up with a better theory based on evidence, that kind of thing. It's always supposed to be a moving, shaking thing. But in doing that, it's almost like it's turned binary. It's like black or white. It's like, if it's, science says blah, blah, blah. And it's like this perfectionism. Yeah. It's like this, that's it. There's no debate. There's no this, there's no that. Everything has to be perfect. And what I'm getting here is that it's got to go back to much more of or realizing it and calling it out that it's, these binary arguments are useless. We can't do that because it's almost like replacing religion with another thing, with science. Yeah, so it's binary. Science says this and that's it. But science is still moving on and is still developing and still moving and still trying to break theories and come up with better stuff. And is that right? It doesn't quite fit this, so on and so forth. But the rest of society is like, oh, science has said this, so we stick to it. It's that kind of I feel like I'm not explaining that very well. I'm sorry, but it's that kind of, not everything's got a 0 or a 1 going to the binary thing, 0 or a 1 answer. Sometimes they're grayscale kind of energy. And we need to get away from this kind of binary, kind of everything's left or right, up or down, black or white, 1 or 0, that kind of thing. And go back to more of a grayscale thing. Page of Swords in reverse. This is in reverse is normally about lies, manipulation in that respect, in in knowledge, in information, in data being a sword. I feel like this is kind of partly acknowledging, based on these two, like calling out the spin, if that makes sense. Calling out that this kind of, heading towards utopia, heading towards this promised land, hasn't worked, and this feels like not only calling it out, but also the repercussions of it, and the manipulation of it, and it can't be based on fear as it has been, kind of thing. It's that there's another bit here that I'm trying to get. Did you notice? There's something else about holding people accountable for it as well. There's some sort of kind of, now we know it's lies, kind of, you should know better, or should have known better, or there's some sort of holding people accountable for that in public office. The best way to describe that is they knew the truth, the factual, actual truth, but because it went against their science religion, as we've talked about up here, bunny flops, it was spun in the way that was best serving them. And so kind of frog marched us down a path that we shouldn't have never gone down, kind of thing. And that's this big kind of reset that we're having here. But this very much feels as if holding people accountable, which we are slowly but surely seeing. And we've talked about in the last couple of weeks about not just the figureheads of organizations and political groups and things like that, but it's also their minions. It's also not just the low-hanging fruit that normally gets, thrown under the bus, keeping everybody else safe. It's the layers of management that are also being cleared out and also being held accountable and also being kind of exposed. That's what I'm getting there. Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Can we clarify the Eight of Pentacles, please? If you're enjoying this, like I said, this is not normally something I do, and I'm just literally being guided how to do this reading. So please thummy like and hype if you so wish. Why not? Well, I don't know what I think you get 3 a week or something of hypes, and if you're enjoying it, please smear it around and stuff. Subscribe, dingling that bell and all that jazz. And comment down below if you're reading along. If there's anything in particular that I'm not quite picking up on quite right, or you're picking up something while we're reading, kind of thing. Yeah. And also that's where you can suggest future readings. And thummy upvote. If you agree that you want to see that reading that someone else has suggested. That'd be very, very nice indeed. The energy's coming through clunky. Is the best way to describe it. It's kind of like a stop-start kind of stutter kind of energy. Okay, they're ready now. For the Eight of Pentacles. So we've got Hermit. Oh, Knight of Swords rushing in. Beautiful. And the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay. So let's go. I'll go the way they came out, like I did the others. So with the Hermit here, this is self-reflection. And realizing truths with the hermit. Sorry, I found coffee. I need a slurp. Cheers, my dears. Oh, that's better. So this is feeling as if it's almost like people tapping in, and I wouldn't even say this as like a lot of people wouldn't even, not being spiritual, not being religious, they wouldn't call it following their calling, but that's the sort of energy that I'm getting here. It feels as if there is going to be a moment where it's almost like everybody gets their mission, their next chapter, their next kind of the next goal. And people like you and me are going to, like, that'll be kind of that download, that information, that aha moment, that light bulb, yeah? That for us, we go, oh, okay, this is our next mission, yeah? This is our, God, Spirit, Universe is calling to us, and this is what they want us to do. We will see that as our next calling. Others will see it in more of from a sciencey base, or people who haven't got following anything in particular, will just see it as, for them, they'll see it as they got inspired on TikTok or they got inspired on YouTube and they want to go and do ... Yeah, it's the same thing. Because it resonates with all of us. So even if they're not necessarily tapping in like we are, the outcome's the same. And that, I think there's going to be a lot of kind of changings of jobs, or a lot of people starting side hustles or small businesses or taking control back. It feels as if this is a big shift in you know what this is? This feels very similar to just after COVID, where a lot of society, not all of it, but a lot, was enough is enough. And the aftermath of that, and you've seen it in the news over the years, is that people don't want to go for what's the word I'm looking for? They don't want to be kind of pumped up the hierarchy, the business hierarchy, and get like pay grade and all that kind of stuff. They're quite happy where they are, and they're looking for other meaningful things. And then over the last couple of years, it's diminished. Not as many people are. They're not striving because it doesn't resonate with them, but they're equally not looking elsewhere. Yeah, X Factor and other things have got in the way, and the life in general has got in the way. So their determination, they've made a decision that they don't want to stay at this job, or they don't want to, become a supervisor or a manager. They don't want that extra responsibility. They don't want to deal with the kerfuffle of it and all that kind of stuff. But equally, they're not being drawn to where they should be. This feels like almost like a reset of that spur of action, which I like. Kind of putting the work in, very similar to what we were talking about up here, but it's almost people finally being drawn to where they should be. That feels as if I would say in the dark months of kind of like December, January, people are starting. This will be happening a lot. And it feels as if kind of like springtime next year, there's going to be, and you'll be able to see it in your own local communities. You'll be able to see it in your friends and family. You'll be able to, that there'll be this huge shift. People are suddenly kind of like quitting jobs they've had for many years and going out on their own or setting something else up, or, there'll be a lot of that, more than normal. It'll be quite clear that the download has happened in the dark months. And that's where the reflection is happening. And then when people are hibernating, and then without them even realizing, a lot of shift is happening. Knight of Swords. This feels as if it's kind of continuing on with what we were talking about up here. As if the unofficial religion, as it were, has lied, and now that's calling out the lies, and now kind of this is the readjustment. And it's not based on feelings, by the way, the Knight of Cups. No one, it's like this, I will go to both of them. This here is very much an energy of reset. We don't care. It's like, I'm being reminded, and I'm shocked that it was LBC that recorded it and promoted it. Yesterday, while I was catching up with things, I noticed that LBC, because I don't live in an echo chamber, or I try not to, I try and listen from all sides of media, promoted a young lady from a I think she was university, kind of having a protest on October the 7th. And the interviewer from LBC basically asked her, it's like, well, don't you feel sorry for the Jewish community and that kind of stuff? And I'm broad stroking here, kind of like, but basically she said that she doesn't care, and she thinks that their feelings are invalid. She definitely said their feelings are invalid. There was a lot more to it, but basically it's kind of like this righteous feelings-based economy of ideas based on compared to kind of this new, it's almost like aspirational kind of ideas-based economy kind of thing. But it's a big shift. This is like the branding that we keep on talking about. It's like, oh, you can't say that because you're racist or fascist or Nazi or this or that or blah, 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 or stuff or malarkey and that. This is like the truth of it. The truth is this: sit down, shut up. We don't care. We've had enough of this kind of feelings-based economy. Now it's fact-based economy. It's that kind of energy. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well, but this very much feels like kind of December, January, February, springtime. Springtime is the real change point. People are literally springing into action. But the change is bubbling away in the dark months. And then this mass shift happens, or will happen. And this takes this lot completely by surprise. We'll probably see a nice gradual change, and then there's massive shift. I feel like no one's going to miss it. It's that kind of massive shift. I don't know if there's a particular kind of supermoon. I know there's one coming up this month, but it feels like that kind of kind of mega moon kind of massive thing, everything flips. And it reminds me, and I know you're probably bored to tears of me keep saying this, but this reminds me of how Pluto is now in Aquarius for the next 20 odd years. And it's all part of this reset, all part of this control coming back to the little guy. This feels like some sort of... I need to be very careful about what I say here, but it feels as if like it's some sort of bartering system or parallel economy starts, or there's some form of kind of rebalancing of like local economy. Instead of going, like, as an example, instead of going to Tesco's or Sainsbury's or whatever, everybody starts going to the small local shop or the food centre or whatever it's called, yeah? Wherever you are. It's that kind of shift. Or going to farm shops or going to, that kind of energy. There's a big... I'm being reminded, the reason why I'm saying that is I'm being reminded of, what's it called? Arla, milk stuff. Like here, indoors refuses to buy anything with still and like buys certain milk for, and that's it. Like from yogurts to everything we just stopped since they started doing it. So, but it's that kind of shift that I'm getting here. How long we got? Okay, we'll do one more. I'm being called to the Cartoon Clarity deck, and then we'll move on from here. We'll go on to something else. But yeah, what a fascinating reading this is. It's amazing how it's kind of like, from different ways we look at it, and even I've noticed that other people are reading, their readings are very similar as well, where from other channels and things, that this big shift is happening. But it feels as if from this reading, just to really clarify this, is that this trickle that will continue to happen, it feels like in springtime, it is a major kind of like thousands of people are all kind of jumping on the bandwagon as well. It's like a major shift, kind of an awakening kind of energy, kind of a, kind of got the feeling of how could I have been so foolish and jumping ship. Yeah. But yeah, springtime. So what's that? March, April kind of time. It feels like major awakening. And it feels like it's a complete surprise to certain people. The people we were talking about up here being held accountable. It feels as if it's a huge shock. Like a huge shock. It's like there's something here that completely diminishes everything they stood for and stand for and have been flapping their faces about to justify their actions and stuff. That kind of thing. Especially with Stuttery Starmer and all that kind of thing. So, I've been told cut and 3. Okay. So, friendship, building. This is the communities that we good news, lovely. But this is what I'm talking about. The local communities working together. Yeah. This it's come up a couple of times. Kind of working with the community up here, standing for like parish councils and that kind of thing. But this is all like this parallel economy down here as well. Good news, beautiful, and savings. Overarching elite trap. Underlying energy. Vow. It's like this is the hopes and dreams, a new way forward kind of thing, promising that we're going to go towards it, yeah? It's like promise to yourself is kind of the energy that I'm getting here, especially with the energy. Oh, protest is trying to come out there. But it's go away. Protest is definitely, but it feels as if it's almost like a rekindling of, it's like people didn't think they could achieve. They've just made do. And it just feels as if, screw this, I'm going to do it for myself kind of energy. I'm promising this for my family or myself or whatever. This download, this nudge, this inspiration, this aha, whatever. It's springtime, off we go. This trap is this lot up here. I'm just double check. The saving here feels as if, I'm going for another slurp. It feels as if it's stockpiling. Okay. Cheers. It feels as if it's not necessarily about hoarding money. It's hoarding value. It's like having a pantry or having like a library of information. Or it feels as if it's the, if you've ever been into the prepping or looked into the prepping kind of community, it's the triangle. For a second there, I thought it was the triangle of fire. You know, oxygen, heat, blah. And I've just realised no, it's the triangle of it's what is it? Shelter, food, water. I can't remember what the other one is. But there's like 6. There's the main triangle, and there's 3 in the middle. Like communication is one in the middle. I'm not really into that community, as it were. So I can't like instantly bring it up. But I know it's a triangle of survival or something like they call it. But it's that kind of energy where it continues with the taking control back. Yeah. So instead of big business, big pharma, big farming, big corporations, that kind of thing, it's going down to small government, small businesses, local economies, freedoms, basically. That's what Aquarius is basically about, the local instead of the national, international. And I think that's part of it. There's some sort of, I don't know. I'm gonna. This is going to be a throw. Put it on the record. See if it goes anywhere. That kind of one. As we finish off here, but it's something about like end of year or kind of like a financial disclosure. Something there's like, because obviously at the end of every quarter, 180 days, all kind of publicly traded companies have to do their latest up, like what's going on, disclosures. There's something about, and I don't know, I'm being told a supermarket, I don't know, so Tesco, Sainsbury's, blah blah, but the profits are so obscene that it's almost like the final straw. There's something like that there. And that this big shift happening here. And I don't think you can put that back in the bottle. I'm also like, and this could be, and I'd be like asterisk as we finish off here, and it could be just me kind of almost imposing my own views on this, reading this bit here particularly, but it is reminding me of what Erin Dawes and I are working towards, like a homestead, small holding, that kind of like taking control back, doing our own food, our own water, our own internet, our own solar farm, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's that kind of where we don't need corporations. We can just do it ourselves on a couple of acres of land. It's got that. Like, I don't know if I'm reading into it, but it's got that energy about it. I'll be very, I'm trying to be very clear there that there is that energy of it, but I don't know if everybody just goes, screw it, we're going to do this. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it's a bit of fun. If you liked it, please thumb me like. It generally helps out. Hype, all that kind of thing. Subscribe, ding-a-ling the bell if you haven't already. Comment down below if you're reading along. If you know anybody in particular that we're referencing or that kind of stuff. But it very much feels as if, like I said, there's a shift where instead of like villages and like housing estates and stuff who literally just kind of store, like people are stored in, suddenly a community's start. There's kind of like a really kind of helping each other kind of mentality, bartering thing going on here. But anyway, until next time, I will do this crazy shenanigans all over again. Take care. Look after yourself. Be well. And thank you for your company. I'll speak to you soon. See you later. Ta-ra.